Oh, thank you so much, Jai Hatkesh. બહુ સારું તમે મને ખબર નહોતી કે હું આટલો સારો માણસ છું, પણ તમે કીધું એટલે I would be ready to take what you said. Having said that, હું બી ટ્રાય કરીશ કે ગુજરાતીમાં બોલું, but as Harsh said, ઇંગ્લિશમાં વિચાર કરીએ છીએ અને ગુજરાતીમાં બોલવાની કોશિશ કરવાની છે. Yes, by training, I am a chartered accountant, and if I were to start background, my father was a very senior officer with the railways. એટલે મેં બ્રિટિશ જમાનો બહુ જોયેલો. એટલે મારો બિગેસ્ટ બંગલામાં જે રહ્યો હતો એમાં 22 રૂમ હતા. એટલે એ બેકગ્રાઉન્ડથી ઇન્ડિપેન્ડન્ટ ઇન્ડિયામાં અને જ્યારે પ્રોફેશન ચાલુ કર્યું ત્યારે ઘણું બધું જુદું જોવા મળ્યું. So before I start, I realized that there are about 32 people logged in, and I assume from the pictures જે દેખાય છે કે ઘણા seniors છે, ઘણા middle age છે ને ઘણા youngsters બી હશે. So I'll try and sort of address as many as I can in this audience. Before I start, I want to tell you a story which has a moral, which I'm sure audience attending here would find something. So there was this young farmer who had a big farm. Like Harsh, I realized that there is an urban farmer like urban Naxals. અત્યાર સુધી ખાલી urban Naxals સાંભળ્યું હતું, but now we hear that there are urban farmers also like Harsh. So this farmer had a mouse and had a chicken and a pig and a cow on his farm, and he married a young lady, very smart, beautiful lady. And she came home and she realized that the mouse was disturbing every day in her garma. She said she used to put a mouse trap, and the young husband had to agree to the husband. એટલે mouse trap મૂક્યું. રાતના અવાજ થયો એટલે mouse trap operate થયું અને something got caught. એટલે she woke up and realized કે એમાં mouse ની જગ્યાએ snake was caught in that. So she had to go out in the dark and release the snake. હવે જ્યારે snake ને release કરવા ગયા ત્યારે the snake bit her and she fell sick. So they went to the doctor and the doctor said, well, she needs chicken soup because her health will deteriorate. So the first casualty was, of course, the chicken. Still did not improve. So the next was the pig. So they said, no, she needs to, but still it did not improve. She had ultimately fatal thing happened. And he had to do whatever he had to do. And therefore, the next was the cow and the lion. In the meantime, when this mousetrap was kept, the mouse had gone around and told his friends, the chicken and the pig and the cow, look, there is a mousetrap. We should do something about it. We are friends to our owner, and we should do something about it. Everybody had said. The chicken had said, well, I go into the house, but I don't care because the mousetrap કંઈ મને પકડશે નહીં. Pig તો કહે કે mousetrap ને હું લઈને ભાગી જઈશ ને cow said તો ઘરમાં જતી જ નથી. તો how does it matter? What do I care? So I'm sure there is a moral story here, as Harsh has said, as Nagars, like other communities, there is a time that we start thinking not as a mouse or not as a pig or not as a chicken or not as a pig, but realize that unless we all look for each other like other communities, prosperity in the sense that the other communities have, or even other mandals that our community have, may be a little distant, and we can definitely say that, cover that. Having said that, to give a big brief background, yes, I am a chartered accountant by training. And I'm from a product of NM, maybe some of you were with me. And I was very active in the college and I was the university representative. Now, university representative means that two people are selected from the college and you become a member in the university. And I happen to be the secretary of the debating society, University of Bombay, which is something, and you have a mock assembly. In the assembly, you do some debates and all that. After that, let me tell you some incident which may be a life lesson for youngsters who may want to get into this any profession that they have. I went for an interview with this firm that now I am a partner, and I was articles માટે ગયો હતો. તો મારા અંકલ ACC માં હતા, જેનો અમે ઓડિટર્સ હતા, અને you took me there. તો ગયા એટલે સિનિયર પાર્ટનર જોડે મીટિંગ કરાવીને મીટિંગ થઈ ગઈ, એપોઇન્ટમેન્ટ થયું. એટલે કીધું કે have some tea. એટલે મેં કીધું નહીં સર, no, thank you. So the senior partner said, you look, young son, today you are getting the tea because you have come with your uncle. From tomorrow when you join the firm, you will have to earn it and deserve it. He said that you will have to earn it and deserve it. And I think that stayed with me and is staying with me till today. That anything that you do, whatever you do, you got to earn it and you got to deserve it. Sometimes you earn it, but it's more important that you deserve it. And the deserve part comes to the ethical part and whatever you have. So incidentally, in my career, I have changed about 5-6 jobs. I tell my friends that normally I don't take gratuity in any company, and I've headed companies. Now, every company that I changed, I learned something, and I thought I will share that with you. The first, and I worked with one of the best companies in the world. I worked with Colgate. Now, Colgate was a company where I was handling tax. જે ફોર્મમાં મેં સીએ કર્યું તો એમાં ટેક્સનો ટી નહોતો. And I took it as a challenge કે ભાઈ આપણે tax કરીએ વખતે મોડવેટ આવ્યું, so મોડવેટ શીખ્યો ને બધું કર્યું. One thing that I learned in that place, Colgate, everybody wants to work in Colgate. I was a friend to so many because everybody wanted to know કે next bonus ક્યારે આવવાનું છે, because Colgate issues bonus every 2 years. So the one thing that I learned there as a tax manager and as a manager, typically પહેલા notice આવતી હતી demand ની, ત્યારે registered post આવતી હતી. So typical learning in Indian business or Indian scene is कि postman ने कहीं बोल देना घर पे नहीं है, घर बंद है, so the notice goes back. But Colgate was different. Colgate was such a clinical environment that they said नहीं, notice तो लेवानी तो खरी ज, પણ એમાં 30 દિવસનો time હોય pay કરવા માટે, તો કે કાલે જઈને pay કરી દેવું. And mind you, that time the rate of tax was 77%. So very clinical environment is what a multinational company sort of taught you. The other day, I was reading a book by somebody who was with Hindustan Lever and who was also with Tata's. And he said that surf was facing a lot of challenge when Nirma came in. And the one thought was that they look Nirma ne tumhe kill kari nakho, as they do in business. But there was one MD, very known MD from Levers. He said, no, we don't have to kill Nirma, but we do something that they grow and we grow. And as a result, though surf came down in volumes, they brought in wheel, and wheel, as you know, made a huge market share, and then they got tied and they got so many stories like that between Lipton and Brookbond and things like that. So from there, I went and joined a company known as Blue Dart, and that was the company which started with 5 people in courier business. આપણને લોકોને આંગડિયા business ખબર હતી, બોમ્બે to સુરત હીરા લઈ જાય ને cash લઈ જાય ને એવું. So this company was the first company who set up a courier company, and they came out with so many new concepts. But thinking big was something in the DNA. Now, one of them was a Brahmin like us, who was not a Nagar, but Jani Karine, who was there, one of the founders. And they said, we think big and we should get an aircraft. Now, એ જમાનામાં ને એ પછી ઇન્ડિયામાં Dakota અને Boeings હજી ખાલી introduce થયા હતા. Dakotas were phasing out and Boeings were coming in. So that time they were thinking big and they were dreaming of having a Boeing. And when I joined, we made a public issue. I was very active in the public issue. And we got into an aviation business, and we started an aviation company. We had a public issue, aviation company. So there I learned, you have to think big. You have to really, if you want to grow. So as an employee, we were all taught, or we were all, and I was reporting to the board, I was a board member. So we were taught you have to think big. Unless you think big, you can't grow in an organization, nor can you grow in an individual life. From there, I went to Dubai, and I started a courier company because I had experience in courier business. And there, of course, I learned not only how to set up a company, but to work with, mind you, with even Pakistanis. At least 25% of my employees were Pakistanis, because there are a lot of Pakistanis in Dubai. And then there were Arabs, and there were Egyptians, and there were, of course, Indians. And so man management is something that is very important at whatever position you are in an organization. And from there, I went to Egypt, where I was the MD of FedEx for North Africa. And there, mind you, हमारी 700 माणसों company હતી, and I was the only Indian. And there you realize how you work with Saudis, Jordanians, Lebanese guys, and people like that. And there you learn, like India has a rich culture, Egypt also has a rich culture, which you imbibe when you bring it into your system, which helps you grow. So therefore, what is important in my view for any employee, like Harsh has tips about how to grow in your business, and how though it is not in our DNA to get into business. A lot of our youngsters, a lot of us, we have been in jobs, and how these types of things that you learn. So observation is, I think, the thing that one has to continuously keep on learning. Currently, I am with, as I was told, that I am with one of the oldest Indian, in fact, the first and the oldest Indian CFO. Now, what is the reason why we have survived for 126 years? The reason we have is that we અત્યારે એવો trend છે, generally એવો trend છે કે we want central control. We want command and control environment કે બધું આપણે central control કરીએ. ત્યારે હમારા ત્યાં એક અમારી એવી એ છે કે everybody is on his own as far as the work he is doing. He is allowed to have a free flow of work. He is allowed to have his own style of work as far as he meets the overall DNA of the firm, which of course is ethical. And of course, we see ourselves as trustees. Not many chartered accountants see themselves as trustees of the client. So we ourselves as that. And that's the reason why we have prospered. When I joined, we were the fourth biggest. But as things stand today, because of multinational firms coming in, we are not in the top, but we do have a pedigree, which and we continue to do that. So I think these are some things which I thought may help. Going back to my childhood, because I had the background of railways, I realized that the British had put up a system by which you were educated only to be employable and not be do anything. But I think in the current environment, અત્યારનું જે environment છે, એમાં education is not just enough. I think developing a skill set, and a very different skill set, is the need of the hour. COVID taught us that you have to relearn and you have to go back to basics to be able to be employable. So what is important today is that you should come out with a skill. For example, being a chartered accountant or being an engineer is just not enough. You got to have a skill by which you become employable. And as things today, the way transformation is happening today, things are changing. For example, who would have believed that તમે return file કરો અને 99% return is accepted on face value and you maybe get your refund within 2-3 weeks. There are cases where I know the refunds come back in less than a few hours. So things are changing. Transformation is happening. For example, what happened in COVID, if you go around, many countries were not able to do that. So a lot of transformation is taking place in this country. And we need to realize that we become a part of this transformation rather than being something who are objecting to transformation. For example, what happened in terms of Aadhaar. The Aadhaar is such a thing where today almost 75% આપણું return government ready કરીને તમને આપે છે. તો government પાસે બધો જ view છે કે તમે ક્યાં ₹1 તમારા credit card ઉપર ક્યાં કેટલો વાપરો છો. So I think transformation is something that we'll have to be wedded to. And which are the areas where transformation is coming? I think અત્યાર સુધી we were saying that India has a soft skill, soft power through our Hollywood. But I think now the power of pride has started coming in. આજે તમે international airport ઉપર કોઈ જગ્યાએ land થાવ, so your blue passport ni value વધવા માંડી છે. So are we being part of that value system where we are able to see, or we are still saying that India માં તો આવું હોય ને આવું હોય ને આવું? So are we ready to see that transformation coming? I think that is a question that one may have to think. Another transformation is coming is in the whole system of economy, where everything is becoming system driven, everything is e-driven. So the cash economy, the whole cash economy, in my view, is going to be something of the past in next maybe 5-10 years. The way the UPI payment is happening, the way the digital currency is coming in, I think this is something that the future is there for India. Like Harsh said, maybe farming in some area is still not taxable. But having said that, I think we have to find out ways to be able to be part of that particular segment that is there. Another thing that transformation is coming is that in the terms of the pride that we start having in ourselves. Up till now, somehow or other, because of the colonial rule, મારું એવું માનવું છે કે the pride હોવી જોઈએ કે I am an Indian, એ નથી. પણ હવે if you see the body language of our leaders and the body language of a successful businessman, you will find that the element of pride is very high. And how do we imbibe that is something that all of us may have to think. And as we as Nagars, we are gifted with so many things. I think intelligence is something which is gifted to us. Administration, which is something gifted to us. We may not be money minded, but we have something so much to give back. And I think understanding and administration is something that is in our DNA. And I think that is an area which we can. So where do our children are? Where can our children sort of concentrate? So I think education, basic education, is definitely essential. But having said that, along with development of a skill which has value. Now, what do I mean by skill? You will find that so many jobs are getting just outdated. For example, you don't hear about stenos, you don't hear about secretaries, you don't hear about, and very soon you will not hear about accountants. For example, with artificial intelligence coming in, you can make a PowerPoint presentation in just about 5 minutes. પહેલા એક PowerPoint presentation બનાવવું તો કેટલી ની પાછળ, of course, originality એમાં તમારે લાવવી પડે. So you get a ready platform to make your presentation, to get the data from wherever. But એની પર તમારે પોતાનું input એને enhance કરવા માટે જે જરૂર હોય, that is where the skills come in. And that skill will come in if you are unique. So everybody is unique. Every human being is unique. Everybody's nose is unique. So how does everybody bring in his own uniqueness to the job? And that uniqueness, in my view, comes from 3 questions that one need to ask. And what are those 3 questions? And those applies to everything, dharma, ke office, ke whatever sphere you are in. And those questions could be how, what, and why. Unfortunately, આપણે લોકો જ્યારે બી કોઈ બી કામ કરતા હોઈએ છે તે how અને what ઉપર concentrate કરતા હોય છે. For example, આપણે જો વેકેશનમાં જવું હોય તો lot of time we spend on the how, આપણે કેવી રીતે જશું અને કેમ કરશું અને શું કરશું અને એની ઉપર આપણે ઘણો બધો time spend કરતા હોય છે. પણ જો વેકેશન ઉપર જઈએ છીએ, going for a different experience, maybe relaxing, maybe enjoying, which is the why part. So મારા હિસાબે, if we start consciously thinking about the why in everything that we do. For example, I was just listening to Harsh, and he said that he started thinking on the why he is doing what he is doing. And he could set up his 7 verticals that he has set up and maybe go public and whatever. So I think મારા હિસાબે જો why નો answer આપણી પાસે હોય, કાં તો આપણે why ને concentrate કરવા માંડીએ, questions કરવા માંડીએ, અને what ને how અને જરા સાઈડમાં રાખીએ, so I think that would be a major key success. Another transformation I think that is coming in the country is that the whole history will change. Unfortunately, 40s, 60s, 70s, the history જે આપણને લખાઈ છે, જે લોકોએ લખી છે, એ મારા હિસાબે ઘણી બધી vitiated છે. So history, when it is being rewritten, so how do we start understanding that history? And we as seniors, how do we sort of bridge that gap and convey that correct history that is being written to the youngsters, so that they start having pride in the country and pride in the history, and we are not stuck with only the Mughals and the Brits who are there in the country. So these are the thoughts I thought I would share with you. Having said, there's another thing that I need, that I believe that I'm doing, is that I'm almost in my 2nd innings. And I think, as far as, because I see some seniors here like me and maybe elder to me, I think the 2nd innings, because of longevity and because of economics improvement, I think the longevity has started increasing. And that is the time when we start to have me time, and that me time we start spending on the things that we like doing. જે આપણને ગમતું હોય એ કરવાની આપણે જો તૈયારી હોય, જો માનસિક તૈયારી હોય, I think that is what is required. For example, I like driving. I've driven almost in 15-20 countries in the world. And I've been driving in the country, and I enjoy every day that I drive. I travel to so many places, our roads are. So I think that transformation for the seniors of not being confined to the house only after a certain age, and being able to go outside in the world and share their experience and answer the question why I'm doing what I'm doing. I think that will help. I had some ideas to share. I thought it was making some sense. I hope it has made sense. And thank you, Neha ji and Priyanka ji, for inviting me. I also have my channel, just to let you know. And I'm running a series, and I would be very happy to invite a few people who are there on this, because I want to start a series on Nokha Matina, Nokha Manso. As Priyanka ji said, I've done a series on young achievers from the community, and it was very well received. The why answer behind that was that people who have achieved in our community, એ લોકો કદાચ community થોડા disassociated થઈ ગયા છે. They've been so busy in their career that they have become disassociated from the community for whatever reasons. Now, through that, when I wanted to bring them back and get connected with the community. So I think we as Nagars, I think across the world, in fact, when I was abroad, people used to ask me, and I used to always say, because Nagar chu, and I had to explain them. And I was very proud explaining that this is what, it is not only being Indian, but this is what is being Nagar. So we have it in our DNA, our DNA mache, and it is time that we package it well, we market it well, and so that the community at large benefits and gains out of it. And more so the youngsters should gain out of it, whether they are in business, whether they are in profession. But I think this is where the future is. Thank you so much. Thank you for this time, and thank you for patient sharing.